Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, chapter entitled The Atrocities of King Kamsa, text 42. It has 6 lines, but this is all one text, so we will recite all the lines. Please repeat after me. Saham Hi Sarvasura Adhyakshaham Hi Asuradvit Guhashayah Tat Moolah Devataah Sarvaah Sa Ishvaraah Sachatuh Mukhaah Ayang Vai Tat Vada Upayah Yat Rishinam Vihingsanam Sahi Sarvasuraadyaksho Sahi Sarvasuraadyaksho Hyasuradvidguhashayah Hyasuradvidguhashayah Tanmoola Devata Sarva Tanmoola Devata Sarva Seshvara Sachaturmukah Seshvara Sachaturmukah Ayang Vai Tadvadhopayo Ayang Vai Tadvadhopayo Yadrishinam Vihingsanam Yadrishinam Vihingsanam Sahi Sarvasuraadyaksho Hyasuradvidguhashayah Tanmoola Devata Sarva Sheshvara Sachaturmukah Ayang Vai Tadvadopayo Yadrishinam Vihingsanam. Somebody can repeat. Sarvasuraadyaksho Hyasuradvidgu Tanmoola Devata Sarva Seshvara Sachaturmukah Ayang Vai Tadvadopayo. Matajis. Sahi Sarvasuraadyaksho Hyasuradvid Saha He, Lord Vishnu, He indeed Sarvasura Adyakshaha, the leader of all the demigods. He indeed Asuradvit, the enemy of the Asuras. Guhashayaha, he is the super soul within the core of everyone's heart. Tatmulaha, taking shelter at his lotus feet. Devataha, the demigods exist. Sarvaha, all of them. Sa Ishvaraha, including Lord Shiva. Sachatuh Mukhaha, as well as Lord Brahma, who has 4 faces. Ayang, this is. Why, indeed. Tat Vadha Upayaha, the only means of killing him. Vishnu. Yat, which. Rishinam, of great sages, saintly persons, or Vaishnavas. Vihingsanam, suppression with all kinds of persecution. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Translation: Lord Vishnu, the super soul within the core of everyone's heart, is the ultimate enemy of the Asuras and is therefore known as Asuradvit. He is the leader of all the demigods because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. The great saintly persons, sages, and Vaishnavas also depend upon him. To persecute the Vaishnavas, therefore, is the only way to kill Vishnu. Purport: the demigods and the Vaishnavas especially are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Vishnu because they are always obedient to his orders. Om Tad Vishnu Paramang Padang Sada Pashyanti Surayah. The demoniac followers of Kamsa thought that if the Vaishnavas, saintly persons, and sages were persecuted, the original body of Vishnu would naturally be destroyed. Thus, they decided to suppress Vaishnavism. The Asuras perpetually struggle to persecute the Vaishnavas because they do not want Vaishnavism to spread. Vaishnavas preach only devotional service, not encouraging karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Because if one must liberate oneself from material conditional life, one must ultimately become a Vaishnava. Our Krishna consciousness movement is directed with this understanding, and therefore the Asuras always try to suppress it. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sahi Sarva Suradyaksho Hyasuradvid Guhashayah Tanmula Devata Sarva Sheshwara Sa Chaturmukaha Ayang Vaitad Bhadopayo Yadrishinam Vihingsanam. Lord Vishnu, the super soul within the core of everyone's heart, is the ultimate enemy of the Asuras and is therefore known as Asuradvit. He is the leader of all the demigods because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. The great saintly persons, sages, and Vaishnavas also depend upon him. To persecute the Vaishnavas, therefore, is the only way to kill Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So, for past quite some time we are discussing this 4th chapter, and this chapter is entitled as the atrocities of King Kamsa. And actually, if you see from the next verse, after this verse, the atrocities of Kamsa begins, or rather to say, he resumes his atrocities. Till now, for quite some time, he was not doing all these atrocities, all his persecutions. quite some time, in the sense, he stopped it maybe for I think less than 24 hours. That's it. How come? Because when he wanted to kill the eighth child, he threw the baby and then the child slipped away from his hands, and Durga Devi manifested 8 arms, and then she spoke to him. After he heard the all the news, hot news from Durga Devi, then immediately Kamsa was kind of feeling bad for Devaki and Vasudeva. Then he started speaking to them, kind of console them, beg forgiveness, everything he did. And the end of the day, at night, what he did, he summoned all his ministers to come next day morning. And the next day morning, all these discussions are going on. Then again, he continues his persecutions. So maximum, he stopped it for 24 hours. So Kamsa is going to resume his atrocities from tomorrow's verse. And this verse, today morning when I was reading, it was quite interesting, this verse. So we'll try to see few things, whatever time we have. If anyone, even when I was reading today morning this verse, if you just read first few lines of this verse, in English we are saying 6 lines are there. So if you take first 4 lines of this verse, where it is mentioned, Sahi sarva suraadyaksho hyasuradhvid guhashayah tanmula devata sarva sheshvarasa chaturmukaha. Here the description about the Supreme Lord is given. O Lord, you are sarva suradyaksha. You are the leader of all the demigods. Next line. Hyasuradhvid. Asuradhvid. O Lord, you are the killer of enemies. Guhashayah. O Lord, you are super soul residing in everyone's heart. Tanmula devata sarva. Not only demigods, even including the leaders of demigods, they are under your control and protection. Sheshvara sa chaturmukha. Sheshvara, Ishvara, and then Chaturmukha, even Brahma. So it seems like somebody is praising, glorifying Lord, offering prayers. Srimad Bhagavatam, if you take any canto, from the first canto till 12th canto, there are so many prayers, so many glorifications offered by so many devotees. So when anyone reads this, when you go through the Sanskrit, then immediately you think, oh, very nice glorification, some devotees glorifying Lord. Because it is one of the very important aspect of devotional service. We know Navavida Bhakti, out of which Vandanam is very important also. Therefore, this Bhagavatam is full of prayers, which make us to understand the position of the Lord. Normally in this material world, we go on glorifying ourselves. So by hearing these prayers, we understand how insignificant we are and how great Lord is. So therefore, this Vandanam is very important. How that verse goes? Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshit Abhavad Vayasaki Kirtane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Prituh Pujane Akruras Twabhivandane. So Akrura is glorified for this Vandana, offering prayers. So many devotees have offered, but still it is said that Akrura achieved perfection by offering prayers. So when you read this, when you see these 4 lines, some amazing glorification somebody is doing to Lord. Because all these description, they exactly match with, they are in align with Bhagavad Gita. We know Bhagavad Gita is the book where Lord speaks about himself. There is no any other book where Lord speaks or Lord speaks about himself. Here Lord is speaking. What to say about speaking? He is singing about himself. And all these 4 statements, if you compare with Bhagavad Gita, perfectly they are matching. Prabhupada, if you move to the translation. Prabhupada writes in the translation, Lord Vishnu, the super soul, he is the super soul within the core of everyone's heart. Krishna says in Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishta. That is there one more verse is there where he says exactly, I am residing in heart as super soul. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddesha Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rodhani Mayaya. All these material bodies are like yantra, machines. And within the heart, as a super soul, I am residing. So, exactly in alignment with the words of Krishna. And see the second statement. O Lord, you are the ultimate enemy of the Asuras and therefore known as Asuradhvit. So, you are ultimate enemy, you are killer of demons. Krishna says, for this purpose only I am coming. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. Those who are dushkritinas, those who are asuras, those who are demons, I come to kill them. And the next statement says, he is the leader of all the demigods, because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. So many places Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. How he is supreme of everyone, including demigods. Directly he says, Aham Adirhi Devanam. Of all the demigods, for all the demigods, I am the leader, I am the supreme. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the only Prabhu. There are maybe so many small Prabhus. Prabhupada will, so many places Prabhupada mentions. You are also Bhagavan. He is also Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who controls. So you are controlling, maintaining your family. He is controlling, maintaining his family. But you all are small, Chota Bhagavan. Bhagavan is, Krishna is Supreme Bhagavan. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. He is the Supreme Prabhu. So many places he says, Mattah Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. There is no other truth superior to me. So all these statements are exactly in alignment with Bhagavad Gita. So then we immediately think, oh, very nice glorification. That person who is speaking this verse, he has understood Krishna clearly. Because Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, to understand him is very difficult. It is not so easy. So that also in so many places again and again he says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vedi tatvatah. Out of thousands and thousands of men, one may try to achieve perfection in this path. And among those thousands of men who achieved perfection, one may understand me. It is very difficult. What to speak of Manushyanam, even for demigods, the same verse where Aham Adirhi Devanam comes, how the verse begins? 10.2. How it begins? Krishna. Name vidu suragana. Prabhavam na maharshayah. Aham Adirhi Devanam. Name vidu suragana. Sura Ganas. Even demigods, they are baffled in understanding my position. Throughout Krishna Leela, we will see. Now we are in only 4th chapter dealing with Kamsa. Later on, we will, when we enter into Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes and all, we will see even Brahma, Shiva, they all get bewildered. So understanding Krishna's position is very difficult. So someone, when he is glorifying very nicely the position of Lord, when he is giving this description, he must be a very great devotee of the Lord. So we will be thinking, which devotee is speaking this verse? But the surprise element comes in the next 2 lines. The next 2 lines goes, Ayang vai tad vadopayo yad rishinam vihingsanam. So now, after giving all the description about Supreme Lord, after telling how great he is, how he is taking care of his devotees, how he is affectionate to the devotees, after giving all these descriptions, now the discussion is, what shall we do next? Now we came to know, now we understood, Lord Krishna is supreme, he kills his enemies, he gives protection to everyone, he, all the Vaishnavas are dependent on him. So after knowing all this, what shall we do? The verse says, Yad rishinam vihingsanam. Let us persecute them. Let us kill them. What? So this immediately shows, surely this verse is not spoken by devotee, or this verse is not spoken by someone who is well versed with Bhagavad Gita. This verse is spoken by someone who is in complete dormant ignorance. Because one who understands the position of Bhagavan and Bhakta, actually what he does, we can see from Chaitanya Charitamrita, in every book, even in Bhagavad Gita also, we can see in all the scriptures, before the beginning of the narration, the first section is what? Mangalacharan. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he writes, just in the very beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, first chapter, I think around 20th verse, he is writing, Grantera Arambakari Mangalacharan, Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan Tinera Smaran. He says, when you are beginning to write any grantha, when you are going to start, what should be the first thing done? Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smaran. One should remember, one should pray to them. Guru, Vaishnava and Bhagavan, because he knows their position. Just by thinking of them, what happens? He says, Mangalacharan. everything auspiciousness gets invoked. So when you understand their position, actually you should start more thinking about them, more discussing about them. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, no, devotees, machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. You start discussing about Lord's glory. You start serving them. Not that immediately you start about thinking how to kill them. This, one who one who knows the full glory of the Lord, same throughout the same Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says what to speak about super soul. He is mentioned here as super soul. What to speak about super soul? Even a soul cannot be killed. From the beginning of Gita, Krishna establishes that to Arjuna. Arjuna's soul cannot be killed. You may think you have different astras. Arjuna had so many powerful astras with which he can even attack invisible things. So Krishna thought Arjuna will think that I have astras to attack invisible things. So even when Krishna mentioned the soul is invisible, Arjuna will still he may think that with my astra still I will be able to kill soul. So Krishna was giving so many arguments in second chapter. You cannot kill with fire weapon, with water weapon, with wind weapon, with anything you cannot kill. So even if soul cannot be killed, what to speak about super soul? Here asuras are discussing how shall we kill them. Krishna says, I am the all-devouring death. I am the death personified. Through that also, everything is clear in Bhagavad Gita. If one reads Bhagavad Gita, full knowledge is given there. Therefore, Gita is mentioned as Gita Upanishad, essence of all the Vedas. Lord has given everything there. Krishna says in Gita, 9th chapter, Tapamyaham ahang varsham. From me, heat comes. From me, rain comes. Nigranam utsrijamicha. Whenever I want, I control them. Whenever I want, I give them. Amritas chaiva mrityuscha sadasa chaham Arjuna. So he says, Amritam. Actually, I am immortal. I don't have death. Not only he stops with the next line, he says, Amritam chaiva mrityuscha. Actually, I am the all-devouring death. If I want to kill someone, enough for me. Whatever you do, however you try, how much protection you try to give, Lord can, just finish all your plans in a second. Rake Krishna mareke, mare Krishna rakeke. So many times we have heard about that Jayadratha in past time from Mahabharata. How much protection Duryodhana gave. Entire army arrangement was in front of Duryodhana. In front of Jayadratha. Eagle formation was there. Even crossing that eagle formation will take more than one day for Arjuna. Then after that, all the great generals are standing there, giving protection. And finally, Duryodhana has his own army and he himself is standing and Jayadratha is standing behind. Arjuna has to cross through all these soldiers, all the Maharathis, Atirathis, everybody Arjuna has to cross through. Finally, he has to reach Jayadratha. And as per Arjuna's vow, he has to kill Jayadratha before sunset. Otherwise, Arjuna will kill himself. Krishna made all the arrangements. Krishna wanted, Duryodhana thought, what will happen? Arjuna will die, Jayadratha will stay alive. But Krishna thought opposite. Krishna wanted Jayadratha to die on the day. He wanted Arjuna to rule over. So therefore, we see. So, like that, if Lord decides, Lord is the personification. I think he went. So, Lord is the personification of death. So, but here, foolishly, somebody whoever is speaking this, they are thinking about how to kill Lord. This immediately shows one very important aspect. Because it is very difficult to understand that somebody who has some knowledge about Lord, the person in the first 4 lines, he is speaking about the glory of the Lord, he is speaking about the position of the Lord, and finally he wants to kill Lord. How can there be someone with this kind of understanding? After knowing the position of the Lord, he kills the demons, he gives protection to everyone, he is the supreme. Somebody knows all this knowledge, has all this knowledge, at the same time he is thinking about, I will kill that Lord. How it is possible? How there can be someone? Shastra says, yes, there are certain people in that category. They are called as demons. Padma Purana, Lord himself says, Dvau Bhuta Sargau Lokeshmin Daiva Asura Evacha. In this world, there are only two kinds of people. We have so many categories. We think higher class, lower class, rich, poor, uh, uh, ugly, beautiful, strong, weak. So many categories we do among living entities, human beings. But Krishna says there are only two categories. Dvau Bhuta Sargau Lokesmin. Two categories only. Who are they? Deva Asura Evacha. Godly, Deva, Devatas, and second categories are Asuras. So those who are Asuras, they come under this category. Category of what? Krishna says there. Deva Asura Evacha. Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Deva Asuras Tad Viparyayaha. After understanding that first four lines, if one surrenders to Lord, he is Vishnu Bhakta, he is Deva, he is Devata. But after even understanding that four lines, first four lines, what we saw in this verse, still if one acts in some opposite way, then Krishna says, Asuras Tad Viparyayaha. They act like that. They always, they have the knowledge, they have the understanding, but still they act in a wrong direction. We saw even few verses back when Kamsa was speaking to Vasudeva and Devaki. Just imagine if there is someone, there will be so many people, when someone who has no knowledge about Kamsa, if he hears that section where Kamsa is speaking to Vasudeva and Devaki about the knowledge about soul, reincarnation, death, karma, Supreme Lord, destiny, Kamsa is speaking all these things. When someone who has no knowledge about Kamsa, if he hears that section, what he will come to the conclusion? Kamsa is a very sober person. He is a very intelligent person. He must be a very good king. But actually we see all his activities were 180-degree opposite. Completely all kind of persecution, atrocities. Even the chapter titles are like that. Even the previous chapter, the birth of Lord Krishna is there. So there we were seeing where Kamsa begins his persecution. So that is one chapter title. And then now the atrocities of King Kamsa. So even the chapter titles are given like that. So how it is possible? A person who has this knowledge but at the same time acts foolishly. So these persons are called demons. They act like that only. They have understanding, they have theoretical knowledge, they have philosophical knowledge, but they don't want to follow that. So this is same with us. When we read Bhagavad Gita, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read the instructions of Srila Prabhupada given to us, if we don't follow them, if we don't obey them, then we are no different from Kamsa, from Ravana. There is similar like this. When we all were reading Ramayana, in Yuddha Kanda, there is a very nice verse, Valmiki, in Valmiki Ramayana, Yuddha Kanda, he says, Mantra Moolam Hi Vijayam Pravadanti Manishinaha. If I'm right, it goes like this. So the meaning of the text is, whenever you are in a difficulty, you take shelter of some wise people. They can give you good instructions. Whenever you are in a difficult situation, then you take shelter of wise people, hear instructions from them, and then you will emerge victorious. This is the statement there. So when we naturally read this, then immediately we will think, oh, who could be saying this? Maybe Dasharath. Dasharath, when he wanted to hand over kingdom to Ram, he consulted with his all ministers that I am thinking like this, shall I do? He did like that. And or maybe Bharata speaking this, because Dasaratha left body and Rama is somewhere else. So what should be done? Should I bring back Ram? So maybe maybe Bharata speaking this. No. Who spoke? From all this build up, easily we can understand. Ravana spoke these words. When Ravana said this, when Hanuman came and destroyed Swarna Lanka, then Ravana is saying this. Oh, such a huge destruction happened by this monkey. So immediately call all the wise people. We should discuss with them. Then only we will come to good conclusion. But whom did he call? He said this statement. He wanted to call wise people. But whom did he call? Did he call some rishis? Did he call some sadhus? No. Whom he called? He called his ministers. Same thing with Kamsa here. After hearing Durga Devi's prophecy, after hearing Akashvani at the beginning, after discussing all the philosophies with Vasudeva and Devaki, what he is doing? He is calling all the wise people. Who are they? His own demoniac ministers. And with them he is discussing all these things. This is demon. When he comes to know he is in a difficult situation, he does not take shelter of someone who will give him good instruction. Rather, he will take shelter of someone who will promote his selfish desires. Because same Ravana, you see how many times Vibhishna spoke to him. When Ravana kidnapped Sita, Vibhishna thousands of times told Ravana, no, you leave her, you give her back. It will create destruction to you, to all the citizens of Lanka. Everything will be demolished, destroyed. You please return her back. Ravana was not ready to hear that good instruction. Same thing when Hanuman came and burned, at that time, before that, Ravana wanted to kill Hanuman. When he came to know that Hanuman is messenger of Ram, Ravana wanted to kill. Then Vibhishna is still saying, no, don't do that. As per ethics, one should not kill the messenger. One should respect him. What you are doing, you are putting fire on his tail. So what is this nonsense? You don't do. Ravana was not listening. Ravana was not ready to listen. Same thing in Mahabharata we can see. When Duryodhana and Karna, Dusashan, everybody, when they were disrobing Draupadi, the only person who protested was Vikarna. He said, don't do this. This is not proper. When Yudhishthira lost the gamble, that time itself he lost everything. Then again, how you can take over Draupadi? But Kamsa couldn't, Karna, same character. Karna couldn't tolerate. In full angry mood, he's shouting at Vikarna, what you are speaking? Duryodhana was angry. This is what scripture says. Upadesho hi murkanam prakopayana shantaye. If you give good instructions to foolish people, they will not listen. Rather, they will get further angry. Ravana, because of constant hearing of Vibhishna's instructions, he told, you are not my brother at all. You are not my well-wisher. Better you go away. Vibhishna also wanted to go away from there. He left. Same thing. Duryodhana did not listen to Vikarna. And we see in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada also mentions, during the war time, when Duryodhana is mentioning all the great heroes' names, he mentions Vikarna also there. Actually, Vikarna was not such great heroic fighter. But still Duryodhana mentioned there because Vikarna, that time, he had some sentiment for Draupadi and Pandavas. So same leniency he should not show now. So therefore, diplomatically, he is mentioning Vikarna's name there. So demons, they all do this. Now Kamsa is also taking shelter of his own demons. And they are giving him instruction. They are promoting his desires. You don't worry. Sir, what you are worrying? Don't believe the Akashvani words. Don't believe the words of that 8-armed Durga, whatever it may be. What demigods can do to you? Bhagavatam we read. Even by the sound of bowstring of Kamsa, all the demigods, they run away in fear. Just simply by hearing the bowstring, stringing of bow. Simply by that sound, what to speak of fighting with him. They are saying how many times they have surrendered unto you. And you have left them. Okay, chalo, go. How many times you have done this? Why you are afraid of them? Why you are fearing of them? And their leaders, who are their leaders? Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu. What Shiva is doing? Always he is sitting in forest. What Brahma is doing? Brahma is always meditating on something. And what Vishnu is doing? He is the leader of all of them. What he is doing? He has hidden himself within the heart of yogis. That's what they are mentioned in the previous yesterday's class also we heard from Amog Leela Prabhu, and today also we are seeing. He is hidden in their heart. So what they can do? They cannot do anything, but still we should not leave them. It's good that we kill them. So better you kill. So how do we kill them? That is what they are planning in the last two lines. If you want to kill Vishnu, no weapons will work. Only astra is kill his very beloved devotees. If Vaishnavas are tortured, if Vaishnavas are killed, if Brahmanas are killed, they initially mention about Brahmanas, cows, sacrifice, everything. But the ultimate Brahmastra is killing of Vaishnavas. So if we do that, then Lord cannot survive. Prabhupada here writes in the purport very nicely. The demigods and Vaishnavas especially are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We know everybody is part and parcel of Supreme Lord, including the demons. But here Prabhupada is writing, especially demigods and Vaishnavas. Because why? They are always obedient to his orders. They know who Lord is and then they are obedient to his orders. So they are very dear to Lord. Nachatasman manushyeshu kaschin me priyakritamaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. There is no one dear to me than one who is preaching the glories of this message, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and glories of Lord. There is no one dear to me, Lord says. So therefore they are thinking, if that beloved ones, if they are tortured, if they are killed, then Lord cannot survive. We can see that same in this material world also. If somebody harms you, you can even physically, mentally, you can tolerate. But if somebody harms your beloved ones, then that torture in your mental or even physically, you feel so much pain, right? So, same thing they are thinking here. So, let us torture. Let us do something to these Vaishnavas. Then Vishnu himself will die. He cannot tolerate that. So, if that happens, then we will be victorious. Prabhupada writes in the purport, always demons, they think like this. How to torture devotees, how to attack them, how to give trouble to Lord. Because Krishna also says, this also throughout the scriptures we see, though we hear that, what is that? Padam na gachanti. Krishna says, Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gachanti. Krishna says that from Vraja, from Vrindavan, I don't even take one step out. I always stay there. I always stay in Goloka Vrindavan, whatever we consider it as. Which is true, but at the same time we see in so many places, Krishna says, to Narada he says, Naham tishtami vaikunte. I am not in Vaikunta, I am not in spiritual world. Yoginam hridayeshu, I am not in yogi's heart, where these demons are thinking that Supreme Lord is hiding. Lord is saying, actually I am not there also. Yoginam hridayeshu. Yatra ghayanti madbhakta tatra tishtami Narada. Wherever my devotees sing my glory, I am there. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhanam hridayam tuham. Wherever my devotees, I am in their heart, they are in my heart. So this much close Lord is with his devotees. And ultimately in this Ambarish Maharaj Leela, Bhagavan, what a topmost thing he says about this relationship. He says, how that verse goes? He says, Aham bhaktah paradino hyasvatantra imadvijaha. He says, Swatantra means we know, independent. One of the definition of God itself is he is supremely independent. He is not dependent on anyone. And Lord says, I am not independent. I am completely dependent. On whom? On my devotees. When Durvasa came running, he said, I am completely dependent on my devotees. So you go to Ambarish, take shelter of him. Whatever he says, I will follow that. So that much close Lord is with his devotees. If anything happens to them, he cannot tolerate. We see even the just very beautiful picture of this Jagai Madai Leela we have here. The whole purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ready to break that. For what purpose Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came? He did not come to kill anyone. He wanted to kill the demoniac mentality. He did not want to kill any demon. Just wanted to kill the demoniac propensities. But still, immediately he took Sudarshan Chakra when he saw his beloved devotee was attacked. Lord cannot tolerate that. And very interestingly here, demons, those who are foolish about Lord, they knew this secret. What secret? The devotees are very beloved to Lord. And unfortunately or foolishly, we sadhakas, Those who want to become dear to Lord, we most of the time forget this principle. That devotees are very dear to Lord. So easily, we are commenting on devotees, criticizing on devotees. Because recently I was hearing one lecture of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So there Maharaj was mentioning that why one criticizes another devotee. How that happens? Maharaj mentions that when one thinks himself to be great, he considers himself to be perfect in everything, then he starts finding fault in everyone. Rather, if you consider yourself to be very lower, dasa, dasa, dasanu dasa, then you will only see greatness in others. But it does not mean that when somebody commits something wrong, you just don't see, you just ignore it. It is not like that. But at the same time, when we start considering ourselves to be insignificant, then we start seeing all good in others. Then we will glorify others. Once you start glorifying devotees, then you will not commit Vaishnava Aparad. It is very, very dangerous. Therefore, in Shikshashtakam, we see throughout this chanting where it is mentioned, the main stress is given in Amanina Manadena. Trinadapi Shunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena. Amanina. That should be there. Without that, we may go on trying, but we will not reap the results. Vaishnava Aparad is compared with mad elephant offense, which will destroy our bhakti completely. So if we also commenting on Vaishnavas, criticizing them, then there is no difference between this plan and our plan. This plan of directly killing devotees or our plan of criticizing devotees. Both are same. Why? Both will make Lord, both will put Lord in distress. Lord won't feel happy. Recently, just with few things I will finish. Recently, when we went to this Ayodhya Yatra, so many places we went, and then we were visiting, hearing about pastimes of Lord. So when we went to Ram Bharat Milap, in that same place, Bharat Hanuman Milap is also there. Bharat Hanuman Milap means where Bharata and Hanuman they met. Few times they met. In Ramcharitamanas, it is one time mentioned that Hanuman, when he was carrying the Sanjeevani mountain, that time he was crossing through Ayodhya. Because so much he heard from Ram about Ayodhya, so he wanted to see how beautiful Ayodhya is. So while going, he was carrying the mountain and then he was flying above Ayodhya looking at the very beautiful scene. So while he was flying like that, then Bharata from down noticed, actually Bharata noticed a huge shadow completely covering entire Ayodhya. Then Bharata thought that, oh, this must be some demon who knows that Rama is not here, Dasharatha is also not here, so we can now attack Ayodhya. So what Bharata did, he shot an arrow and Hanuman fell unconscious. So this is how actually they met first time. And when Hanuman fell down, he was shouting Rama, Rama, Rama. Then immediately Bharata understood this is not demon, this is somebody devotee of Lord. And when Hanuman saw first time Bharat, it is explained, Hanuman thought this is Rama himself. How Rama, he is there somewhere else. Now how come that he is in Ayodhya? Then the description goes that because brothers, they are so close. Instead of saying brothers, Bharat is such a devotee of Lord Ram, all the qualities internally and even externally he was looking like Ram. So devotees are that much closer. So that Bharat Ram Milap is there. The most astonishing thing we heard there was Ram Bharat Milap, where Ram, after the exile, after coming from that Vanavas, when he came back, he met Bharata in a place called Nandigram. There only Bharata ruled all those 14 years. Ayodhya, Bharata was not he was not inside Ayodhya, he was outside of Ayodhya. In Nandigram place, there only he ruled Ayodhya. So there, when the devotee was explaining, that Pujari he was mentioning, when Ram was going from Ayodhya, first, before the beginning of the first year, when Ram was walking through the forests of Dandakaranya, everywhere when Ram was walking, there were so many thorns pricking and piercing Lord Ram's foot. And Lakshmana was noticing Ram was not removing even single thorn. Ram is walking, Sita is walking, Lakshmana walking. They all are walking. And Lakshmana is noticing that Ram is not removing even single thorn. So at one point of time, Lakshmana is wondering what is going on, why? It's very painful. So he stops Ram. He asks him, so why, brother, I'm not able to understand. It's very paining, you know. So why don't you remove the thorns, put them aside? You know what reply Ram said? Ram said, future, surely Bharata will come in the same way, searching for me. When he is coming, if I remove the thorns and throw on the side, just by seeing the thorns, Bharata will feel bad that how much struggle my brother underwent because of me. Bharata will think just by seeing the thorns. So these all are the thorns which pricked my Lord's feet, and then my Lord removed them. That means how much pain my Lord would have underwent. So Ram is thinking like this. Bharata won't be able to bear that pain, so better let me bear this pain. I don't want my devotee to suffer. So such is the love between Lord and his devotees. It's a never-ending love story. Devotees are ready to do everything for Lord, and Lord is ready to do everything for devotee. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, in Bhagavatam, we hear description about Kaliya Leela. When Kaliya was there, Lord jumped from that Nipa tree, from that Tamal tree, and then Lord entered inside, danced. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami, he explains a little more differently, you can say. So there he explains that when the cowherd boys, they just told Krishna, Kaliya has again entered the lake. So immediately Krishna swiftly ran away from there, climbed the tree and jumped into the lake. So, but actually none of the cowherd boys noticed this. That when they said that immediately Krishna left, they didn't notice this. So what happened? Suddenly they all are looking, Krishna is missing. They all started feeling so bad. And then they are searching for Krishna. They are not able to find him. Then they start following his footprints. So following his footprints, they slowly come to the shore, and then they see Krishna in the coils of Kaliya. Then immediately they all fainted there. And there, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's explained, Krishna immediately empowered an old man to run and inform this incident to Balaram and Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, everyone. And there in the commentary, Acharya is very nicely right. You can very nicely see here, Krishna empowered an old man to run. Because generally old people, they cannot run. What to speak about running? Even walking is difficult. Krishna empowered old man. So Acharya is right. Krishna can empower someone to run. Can't he empower himself to come out of coils of Kaliya? Just he wanted to perform pastime, so he was continuing. So after all the news went there, they all came. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, everybody came. Balaram pacified Rohini to stay there. She didn't come. So because of pacifying, Balaram came last. And when Balaram is coming, he's seeing everybody lying on the ground. Everybody fainted. Everybody is unconscious. So you know what Balaram did? He didn't wake anyone. He didn't do anything. He directly spoke to Krishna. He just said only one thing. Immediately Krishna came out of coils of Kaliya. What he said? Krishna, these devotees, these people, they are not Vaikuntha Vasis. They are not Yadus. Means he's mentioning that they don't know about your supremacy, that you are Bhagavan. Because Vaikuntha Vasis, they know. Even if they see the Lord in the coils, then they will know what is this Kaliya can do. Lord can come out of this. Yadus also they know. Dwaraka Vasis also they knew that. So therefore Balaram is saying, these people are not them. They are simple mere cowherd people. They will surely die now. Then what will happen if all of them die, seeing that you cannot tolerate, you will also leave your body. So he is mentioning that if they all die, you will suffer. Is that okay for you? Now if you are inside the coil, they are fainting, you are continuing your pastimes. But if you continue, they will not live. They will live their lives. Is that okay for you? Then immediately Krishna came out of the coils. And in Brihad Bhagavatam it is explained that then Krishna came out to call the gopis. With the gopis, he danced on the hoods of Kaliya. He performed a dance with gopis on the hoods of Kaliya. So Time to time, everywhere, we see how much affection Lord has for devotees. If anything for him, he is ready to take. If any somebody is criticizing Lord, scientists, how much they are criticizing Lord, leaders, so-called leaders, how much they are criticizing Lord. Still he is, allowing them to live. He is only giving them air to breathe. Here we see even demons, they have understanding that Lord is supreme, he is controller of everything, he is the supreme brain. And the so-called leaders, the ex-leaders of Tamil Nadu, those who are no more in the same body, those who are in different bodies now, they said, how can Ram build bridge? To which engineering college he went and studied? Then another leader of Tamil Nadu, she said that when discussion came about mixing of boys and girls, in engaging in sex before marriage, is that appropriate or not? She said, Krishna and Radha, they did that. So what is wrong? So this all shows that even though now Kamsa and Ravana, they may not be personally present, but still their mentality of Asuric influence is still present here. So therefore, Prabhupada, in the last line of the purport, Prabhupada is saying, everybody, our Krishna consciousness movement is directed with this understanding. Proper understanding that devotees are very dear to Lord. So we should try to serve them. We should try to always render service to them, glorify them. But Asuras will always try to suppress that. How many places Prabhupada has mentioned Krishna and this ISKCON, this movement, there is no any difference. This ISKCON, Krishna has appeared in so many avatars, in Holy Name, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada mentions ISKCON. In Kali Yuga, Krishna has appeared in form of ISKCON, this organization also. How many times Asuras, externally or even internally, we see how many times this suppression tried to take place, and devotees, they emerge victorious every time. Recently I was reading this book, very nice, I Will Build You a Temple, a Juhu temple book. So there, we know the whole book, if you want to tell some few names, you will tell immediately Prabhupada, Giriraj Maharaj, few, and then immediately Nayar name will come there. How many places Prabhupada mentioned him as a demon, directly Prabhupada mentioned. And in one of the memories of Srila Prabhupada, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he was with Prabhupada in New Zealand. One day he was massaging Prabhupada and a phone call comes. In the phone call they inform Nayar has dead. So immediately Shrutakirti Prabhu, he himself says, he never goes in front of Prabhupada whenever he wants to speak. He always stays backside and speak. And also now he is massaging from behind. So Shrutakirti Prabhu explained to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, just now call came, Nayar is dead. Shrutakirti was feeling bad that somebody is dead. So he is trying to inform in that manner. You know what Prabhupada did? Prabhupada said, thank you, Krishna. And then, with that, now I am smiling and doing, Prabhupada with such emotion he did. And Shrutakirti Prabhu says, he was wondering from backside, what is this? I am saying somebody is dead, and then what kind of reaction Prabhupada is giving? Then Prabhupada continued that Nrsimhadev killed him. He is such a demon. Prahlad Maharaj says, when scorpions are killed, when asuras are killed, sages are happy. So now this demon has been killed. So many demons are there like that, in past, present, in future also. So always we will emerge victorious. Prabhupada says that also. We will emerge victorious always, but still we should endeavor our best. And recently in third chapter, before we saw, after seeing forehand form of Krishna, Vishnu, still Vasudeva wanted to protect Krishna. After seeing the 400 form, still he carried Krishna. He didn't tell, Lord, anyway you have 400 form. Why you want me to carry from here to there? You yourself can save. He didn't do that. Prabhupada writes in the purport, because the mood of affection was greater than that knowledge. More than Aishwarya Jnana, this Vatsalya, that Bhava, that Prema was higher. So similarly, we will know Krishna consciousness movement will go on for 10,000 more years. Prabhupada has said, this is golden yuga, within Kali Yuga, books are there, books are the basis, so many things we know. But we should not be lethargic. Okay, it will go on. We should do our best. We should do from our side, because this shows how much affection we have for Lord. If we don't do that, if we don't speak against these so-called leaders, so-called scientists, so-called incarnations, then that means we don't have love for God, love for Krishna. We also one of the ministers of Kamsa, those who are planning to kill Vaishnavas and Vishnu. So just these are the few things for discussing about from this verse and purport. So if there is any question, comments, corrections, are welcome. It was interesting. Just when I was reading the first few lines, it was like really they know about Lord, and at the same time, after knowing, still they want to act in opposite way. That's what Lord says. Asuras tad viparyaha. They will act like that. Mayavadis, these demons at least don't openly they speak about Lord. Mayavadis on the pretext of Vedas, they advertise themselves as spiritual people, and then finally they say we all are one. We can, you forgot that you are God. By practice, you will remember that, realize that. Just recently, now we started again first chapter of Bhagavad Gita in the Sunday evening classes. Just before that, we were discussing second chapter of Gita. So many places Krishna is mentioning to Arjuna, you cannot cut the soul. So many times Krishna is mentioning that theme using different words. By weapon you cannot cut, by knife you cannot cut, you cannot kill. Whenever this killing, cutting is there, Prabhupada immediately links that with Mayavad. He says, see, this shows you are never divided. You cannot cut the Lord, that you all were one at one point of time, now you are divided. This is like, in river you collect water in pot, Gutakash, Putakash, either Akash in the pot or water. Once all the pot broken, or once you put the water back in the ocean, everything merges. But Prabhupada said, what is this? We don't want to be like that. We want to be fishes in the ocean, which is always there peacefully. On top of ocean, we see there are so many waves, agitation, everything. But underneath, if you see, they are very peaceful. So we want to be there like that in the pastimes of the Lord. We want to take part. We don't want, even we see devotees, they don't want even liberation. Mayavadi's only goal is to merge with the Lord. Devotees, they don't want that Sayujya Mukti. What to speak of that one Mukti? Even any other kind of Muktis, devotees, they don't want. Sarupya, Samipya, Sarshti, Salokya. Devotees, they don't want anything. They want Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rahaitu Kitva. Just life after lifetime. And Parikshit Maharaj, actually, even before hearing Bhagavatam, before even he meets Shukadeva Goswami, when all the sages assembled, he asked them only few things. The first thing he asked was, let me be devoted to Krishna even in the next life. Even before in Bhagavatam, he is asking that. Then you can understand how much great devotee he was. Then why still he was asking all these questions? To churn more. This gives pleasure to devotees. Demons, they don't want to hear holy name. Demons, they don't want to hear Krishna Katha. They tell, this all are nuisance, noise. Why you are singing? Why you are doing this? In train when we were doing Kirtan, somebody was asking, why you are torturing? When in the next seat somebody is playing loud Bollywood, Hollywood music, that is not disturbance for you. When some devotees peacefully they chant Ram Nam going to Ayodhya, that is disturbance for you. So people are completely brainwashed. Yesterday Purport Prabhupada was mentioning that. People say we are brainwashing them. Yes, we are washing the stool in their brain. Prabhupada mentioned so many times. So this is the situation. Mayavad. When I was small boy, when I was coming, I was thinking Mayavadi means some group, some sect, like demons. We all previously we have imagined demons mean long teeth and then ugly face. But Prabhupada clearly explains, no need to be like that. Putana was very beautiful. But their Swarupa is like that. Their nature is like that. So similarly, Mayavadi, they are not some separate sect that you go and ask them, so are you Mayavadi, Vaishnavas? Vaishnavas you can identify by Tilak there. So how come you know who is Mayavadi, who is Vaishnava, who is theist, atheist, demon, Deva? Once they started speaking, that saying goes, no, once, how that goes? Not getting that. There is that Bengali saying Prabhupada so many times says, once one starts speaking, then only Pravashanti Mukhe Mrigam. No, not that one. Sorry, not remembering that. Because the jackal king example Prabhupada gives, jackal started shouting, then only one come to know it was jackal. Otherwise, they all were thinking somebody sent by God, God's messenger. Once you start speaking, then only the real nature of you is visible. So just like when they finished their discussion, then we came to know they are not devotees. They never read Bhagavad Gita. They are demons, always planning to kill Lord. So Kamsa will start his persecutions from tomorrow, and we will further hear about that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.